All right, today on The Explainer, we are cutting through all the noise, all the hype, to look at the real science behind one of the internet's buzziest supplements, berberine.
I mean, you've probably seen the headlines everywhere, right? Berberine is being called nature's Ozempic. The claim is that this natural compound can do it all: reverse diabetes, slash cholesterol, and just melt away stubborn fat.
Wow, that is a huge claim. So what really happens when we put all that hype under a microscope? What does the actual clinical evidence say? Okay, let's dive in and find out. Okay, so to really understand berberine, we have to start by comparing it to metformin. And if you don't know, metformin is one of the most prescribed, most studied diabetes medications on the planet. It's basically the gold standard, the benchmark we measure everything against.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that both of these, the natural supplement and the powerhouse drug, they work on the exact same fundamental pathway. Seriously, they both target an enzyme called AMPK. And the easiest way to think about AMPK is like your body's master fuel gauge. So when this AMPK switch gets flipped on, it basically tells your cells, hey, stop storing sugar and fat and start burning them for energy. So here's the big question. If they both flip the same switch, are they going to deliver the same results?
And well, this chart really shows you the difference in raw power. When we look at big meta-analyses, those are reviews of lots of studies, we see metformin is a total heavyweight. It can drop your A1C, which is that long-term blood sugar marker, by about 1.5%. Now look over at berberine. The effect is definitely there, it's significant, but it's much more modest. We're talking about an average reduction of around 0.6%.
But wait, things get a little more interesting when you dig into one specific head-to-head trial. In this study, at the same dose, their A1C reduction was almost identical. And get this, the berberine group actually reported fewer side effects. But, and this is a really important but, this was just one small short-term study. So it's a promising hint for sure, but it is a long way from being conclusive proof.
All right, so with all that in mind, let's finally tackle the big claim, the one that made berberine go viral: weight loss. Is it really nature's Ozempic?
You know, on paper, berberine has all the right stuff for weight loss. It can slow down the creation of new fat cells, and it flips on that AMPK pathway we talked about. But when you actually look at the results from human trials, the numbers are surprisingly small. The average weight loss we see is less than half a kilogram. That's less than 1 pound.
And when you put that number, less than 1 pound, right next to a drug like Ozempic, where people in trials lose an average of 15 kilograms, that's about 33 pounds, well, the whole nature's Ozempic thing just completely falls apart. They're not even in the same league, not even the same sport.
So, what's going on here? Why is there such a huge gap between how it should work and the actual results? Well, it turns out there's a big reason for these modest effects. The biggest problem for oral berberine is a fundamental scientific hurdle.
Just like one physician put it in the research, the core issue is its poor bioavailability. That's a sciencey term that just means your body is actually really bad at absorbing it when you take it as a pill.
To put it simply, a whole bunch of the supplement gets knocked out by your stomach acid and your liver before it even has a chance to get into your bloodstream to do its job. And, this whole absorption problem has actually led to a brand new, pretty innovative approach.
So, to try and get around this whole absorption challenge, some companies have developed a transdermal patch. The idea is to deliver berberine directly through your skin.
Yeah, the whole point is to just completely bypass the digestive system. So instead of getting destroyed by stomach acid, the patch is designed to deliver a steady, slow-release stream of the ingredients directly into your bloodstream all day long. It's actually a pretty clever design. These things use a 3-layer system. You've got a protective outer shell, then a central layer that's infused with all the active ingredients, and then a breathable adhesive layer that sticks to your skin without being irritating.
And hey, it's not just berberine in there. They usually pack these with a whole cocktail of other ingredients that are known for their metabolic effects. Stuff like green tea extract, fucoxanthin, which comes from seaweed, and African mango. The idea is that they all work together.
Okay, so this brings us to the most important question of all, right? This new delivery system, this patch. It sounds fantastic in theory, but does it actually work? What does the real evidence say?
Okay, first, let's just quickly recap what we know for sure about taking berberine as a pill, based on tons of human trials. The clinical evidence is solid. You get modest, measurable improvements in blood sugar and cholesterol, but with pretty minimal impact on weight. That's what the science says. Now, compare that to the claims for the patch.
We're not talking modest anymore. We're talking significant appetite control, a 24/7 metabolism boost, and weight loss goals of over 5 kilograms. That's 11 pounds in a single month. I mean, these are dramatic, life-changing claims.
And this right here, this is the single most important takeaway from all of this. The sources we looked at have absolutely zero clinical studies on the patch itself. None. All those dramatic claims you're seeing, they're coming from user testimonials and company marketing, not from controlled scientific trials that actually prove it works or even gets absorbed properly.
So, this all leaves us with a really fascinating final question. The science on taking berberine by mouth is pretty clear. It has some modest benefits, but it's really held back by that poor absorption. The patch offers what sounds like a brilliant solution, but right now, it just doesn't have the clinical proof to back it up. So, could a better delivery system be the key to unlocking berberine's full potential? Well, for now, that's a question science still has.